Have you ever met a man in his 30s, or even his 40s, who still lives like a boy in his early 20s? He might be intelligent, talented, full of dreams, but somehow he's never truly started his life. No stable job, no long-term commitment, no clear plan for the future. It's as if he's drifting. He fears responsibility. He's afraid to choose a fixed path. And deep down, perhaps, he's terrified that if he truly grows up, a part of him will die forever. Maybe you're thinking of someone who once passed through your life. Or maybe you're thinking of yourself. In psychology, this state has a name: Puer Aeternus, the eternal boy. The term Puer Aeternus comes from Latin, meaning eternal boy, a psychological archetype described by psychoanalyst Carl Jung as a part of the inner self that exists in all of us. It's not a disorder, not something to be eliminated. It's an inner state where a part of us refuses to grow up, a part that always wants to stay free, curious, untamed, without responsibilities or restrictions. In mythology, the image of the Puer appears again and again. He is Hermes, the youthful trickster god, forever moving between the worlds of humans and gods. He is Dionysus, the god of ecstasy, wildness and breaking boundaries. Or more modernly, Peter Pan, the boy who never grows up, living eternally in the fantasy land of Neverland. The Puer symbolizes a deep longing for freedom, a spirit that refuses to be tamed. But at the same time, it is the part of us that avoids reality. They live in dreams, envisioning the perfect job, the perfect love, the perfect life. But they never stay long enough to build anything lasting. They change jobs, change cities, change relationships, always chasing something greater. But sometimes that something never arrives. The man-child, the boy who never really grew up, can be incredibly captivating. He's creative, funny, free-spirited. He brings an energy that feels like a breath of fresh air. But behind that charm is a fragile mind, full of contradictions, fears, and avoidance. One, a dreamy mind. Reality bores him. Repetitive work feels suffocating. Relationships that are too grounded feel like they're closing in on him. He's always chasing something greater, a dream career, a passionate love. But he rarely has the patience to build those things step by step. The world in his mind feels more beautiful than the one outside. And that's where he chooses to live. 2, avoiding responsibility. Stability scares him. A steady job, a serious relationship, it all feels like a trap. He might be talented, but he never sticks with anything long enough. He might love deeply, but when things get too real, he runs, sometimes without even a word. 3, fear of commitment. He falls fast, falls hard, but as soon as it starts feeling real, he pulls back. There's always a voice in his head saying, there's someone better out there, someone more right, a more perfect love. So he never stays long enough to truly connect, always halfway in, halfway out. 4, hidden dependence. He may seem independent. He may talk about freedom, about not needing anyone. But in reality, he still leans on others financially, emotionally, and even for direction in life. There's often someone behind the scenes, a parent covering his expenses, a partner picking up the slack, a friend forgiving the mess. And when things fall apart, he sees himself as the victim, not the cause. Why is it that some people simply can't grow up? It's not just a matter of willpower or laziness. It's something deeper, a wound, a fear, a part of the soul that never quite healed. Some grew up being overly protected. As children, they didn't have to do much to be loved or taken care of. They were never held accountable for their actions. So when life demands responsibility, they have no tools to cope. Others experience deep emotional wounds, a broken home, the loss of a loved one, abandonment, abuse. Traumas like these can freeze a person at a certain psychological age. They stop growing not because they don't want to, but because they're afraid to. Some simply choose to escape reality, because the real world feels overwhelming, filled with expectations, pressure, and pain. So they retreat into video games, fantasy worlds, fleeting romances, or endless scrolling. Anything that keeps them from having to face it. And then, there's the influence of the modern world. We live in a culture that idolizes personal freedom. Live for yourself. You don't owe anyone anything. Don't be tied down. Freedom is beautiful, but sometimes it becomes an excuse to never grow up. When things get hard, they just say, this life isn't for me. and walk away, leaving the mess behind. To the man-child, growing up feels like a kind of death. Not because they're lazy, but because to grow up means to lose something. To lose the carefree spirit, the unfulfilled potential, the endless possibility. To grow up for them feels like closing the door on a dream they're still not ready to let go of. The problem is, when we refuse to grow up, life doesn't wait for us. Time keeps moving. Opportunities come and go. Those who love us, who wait for us, will eventually walk away when they no longer have hope. We think we're delaying to wait for the right moment, the right person, the right inspiration. But in truth, we're missing out on our own lives. Inside, we slowly begin to feel hollow. We no longer know who we are. We're unsure what we want. Doubts start to creep in. Am I truly living, or am I just existing? And yet, Puer Aeternus is not entirely negative. In fact, Puer is a beautiful part of who we are. It's a fierce desire to live, a childlike innocence, an untamed spirit of discovery and boundless creativity. It's the ability to see the world with fresh eyes, like a child seeing a rainbow for the very first time. Those who carry the pure energy can come up with unique ideas, break out of old patterns. They inspire others, bring freshness, and make people want to live more fully. The problem only begins when we let that inner boy take control of the whole adult self. When we live only in the dream and never dare to step into reality. That's when the beautiful becomes a chain, the dream turns into an escape, and the eternal boy remains forever theoretical, never becoming a complete, fully grown human being. So if you realize that you carry the Puer Aeternus archetype within you, what should you do? How can you grow up without losing the freedom inside you? 1. Face the truth. Life isn't perfect. It's never as beautiful as we imagine. But it's in that imperfection that we learn how to love, to take responsibility, and to live authentically. 2. Develop the Senex within you. The Senex is the archetype opposite to the Puer, representing maturity, discipline, responsibility, purpose. Someone who knows that true freedom comes from self-control, not from being ruled by emotions. 3. Ask yourself, what am I avoiding? Not all of us are lazy. Sometimes we're just running away from a pain we haven't dared to name. Pause, take a deep breath, and truly listen to yourself. 4. Learn to commit. Commitment doesn't kill freedom. It creates a solid ground from which we can soar higher. A deep relationship, a long-term project, a meaningful career. All of these require time and trust. 5. Seek support. Sometimes a good therapist, a friend who truly understands, or a deep inner journey can be the very first light that leads you out of the illusionary box you've built around yourself. Puer Aeternus is not a problem to be eliminated. It's a part of all of us. A small voice inside that always whispers, there is still so much left to dream about. But only when we learn to stand firmly on both feet can we truly fly with our own wings. If you saw yourself in this story, feel free to share your thoughts below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.